Economist Dr. Marlene Arts believes the announcement made by Finance Minister Colm Imbert of a 5% offer to unions would put pressure on them to accept it. Speaking during the Delving Deeper program on Sunday evening, Dr. Arts said union members may now be enticed.
Workers will probably want to encourage their representative unions to take the 5%, take it and run, because as, Dr. Siratan and I have been saying, we don't know what lies ahead in terms of the government's fortunes and its ability to raise revenue. So I do hear some of the trade union leaders coming out and saying, we need to have a conversation around this. You can't just drop this 5% and expect us to take it. But I quite suspect that many workers who fall into those bargaining units may be encouraging their unions to move, to press on and to contemplate the 5%.
Economist Dr. Dave Siratan agreed that it was a strategic move.
The main point is that probably at this point in time, that's the amount of money that the government can afford, right? I think the minister mentioned that amount is going to cost additional $475 million in recurrent expenditure.
Per month to pay the workers in those categories.
Right. No, and in the context of the fact that wages and salaries account for about 90% of recurrent expenditure, that's already going to be a problematic thing, right?
On the $2 increase in minimum wage for public servants, Dr. Arts said she doesn't believe this would encourage people to migrate from the private to public sector, but Dr. Siratan pointed out that it could cause some issues for the private sector to eventually increase the rate.
I suspect the minister didn't want to improve the minimum wage overall because businesses and so on might have said that, this is going to cause problems for us and so on. But although Dr. Arts indicated that people are not going to move in droves from the private sector to the public sector, there's a kind of demonstration effect that eventually, if people realize that you're going X amount in the government service, it is going to be contingent on employees in the private sectors. They might need to go up, although the minimum wage have not gone up.
Both economists, though, believe the oil and gas prices pegged on the 2024-2025 fiscal package was a conservative one.
More than likely would have had to do with some of the risks, they say, on the environment. But, strategically, it's always better to underestimate than to overestimate, right? So I think the price for gas price in particular was a little bit on the conservative side.
And in terms of the allocations to the various ministries, both Dr. Arts and Dr. Siratan said there must be a laser-focused value on money to ensure there is a balance between expenditure and efficiency, particularly with regards to national security. Sunil Lalla, TTT News.